it was skateboarding. I mean, skateboarding took up probably a good, I want to say almost 8 years of my life. We started when I was probably 13, 14 years old. All my two younger brothers, I got two younger brothers, we all three got into it at the same time and just like stuck with it. It's just something that we fell in love with.
So you start filming it, throwing it on YouTube.
And my middle brother was way better than me. Like he had people, eyeballing him for sponsors and giving him free stuff. Like the local skate shop that we had, they started like cutting him deals and stuff like that. But he got to a point where in order to get sponsors from other companies, he needed to see some film from him. Yeah, they wanted to see content. So like they were like, well, it's cool that you're getting all, like, we can take the word from this owner of this shop that you're good, but like we want to see what you can do. And so I was just like, all right, well, I guess the only way we gotta do this is buy a camera and try to figure this shit out. Like, someone's gonna do it, I guess I'll do it. I'll figure it out. So I convinced my parents to buy me a camera, and it was just this
What was the camera?
Oh, dude, it was just some old like Panasonic Mini DV. I mean, just old
flip back screen.
Yeah, just little handy cam thing. Like, and it still had like little mini DV tapes and stuff like that with the film all in it. Dude, it was old, but I loved it. I picked it up, started learning how to use it, and just couldn't put it down.
Dude, we all have the best time ever to start a small business.
If I'm not gonna be 100% in, I'm not gonna do it.
Come on, man, just be yourself.
Yeah, and
just show up as yourself.
if you don't realize what I'm really about, I'm about freedom, family, and my country.
Liz, Mike, thank you for joining us here on the Fireside.
Dude, thank you for having us.
This is awesome. I really appreciate you guys taking the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you guys having us.
Earlier, you guys made a quick comment on how humble you guys both are, and you're genuine people, and those are my people. Not guys that just chase clout and look for fancy things on social media. I ran into Mike originally on the Lion's Den, and we'll give Sean a little love, just a little. And I realized quickly what you guys were doing in the video space. I had just started doing the podcast. Evan was blowing up and learning himself. I seen that video of you having a motorcycle go out the window, and I was like, that is sick. I'm like, these two are onto something really cool. And we have just gently stayed in touch. You guys are extremely busy down in North Carolina, and you're genuine people, you're good Americans, and we seem to have the same values, and you two are hustling, just like we are, to try to provide financial freedom for our family. Right. And I know you guys like to give back, and that's what the Fireside is all about. And I really appreciate you guys taking that ride from North Carolina. Was that 6-7 hour drive?
About 8.
Yeah,
8 hour drive? Yeah. Who was driving?
He was.
He was driving?
Yeah.
If you were driving, you would have got here in 7.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you two coming on. Thank you so much. And give a little shout out to your business real quick.
Yeah, man.
Tell us about it fast.
We own BKFX Studios. Started it in 2021. And it's been a wild ride. We do everything from, local businesses to corporate style stuff to just recently we just did a few of our nationally televised commercials as well. So it's been growing, and we've been blessed.
Yeah, we'll dive deeper into it, and we'll start kind of from the beginning, how this all started.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So, Liz, you grew up in Ohio.
Yes.
Mike grew up in North Carolina.
Yep.
Where in North Carolina? Raleigh?
Yep.
And you were Springfield, Ohio?
Yeah, roundabouts.
So, how was that life growing up? Did you love it out in Ohio?
I did love my life in Ohio.
Were you a Buckeyes fan?
Of course, I still am.
You still am?
Yeah.
Did you love Ezekiel Elliott?
I don't like the sports part of it, but I like being included in it.
Yes.
So I don't know the answer to that.
It's a whole feel.
Yeah.
What I realized out in Indiana, I'm a Notre Dame fan, obviously Irish guy. Spring Lake, they call it the Irish Riviera. That's only 10 minutes from my house here in Point Pleasant. There's no other college team I could like in football besides the Irish.
Right.
And when I went out there, we flew into Chicago, my wife and I, and we drove through Gary, Indiana, and all these small towns, and there ain't shit to do. But everybody was on the highway going to the game. And it was a feel. It was something that was like a thing that obviously everybody there in the state and somewhat close to the stadium would do. So I get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Small town America, right?
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
That's awesome. Where'd you go to school?
Like high school?
College.
College. I went to Anderson University in Indiana, actually.
Indiana.
Yeah.
There you go. Did you love Indiana?
No. I call
What
it
about
the
Chicago?
black hole of the earth.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
When I drove through those towns, talking about going out to Notre Dame, like they are desolate.
Yeah.
And I'm talking now 6-7 years ago. Some of the factories have come back since the Trump era, and hopefully that comes back a little bit more. But those were manufacturing towns.
Yep.
So you just drive through Indiana, and there's just desolate
Yeah.
towns. I remember my wife and I were starving. We had come off the plane. We weren't staying in Chicago for the night. We were staying in Chicago on the way back out because we were catching the Cubs game. And we were hungry. We pull over into this town, and it's like nothing but a McDonald's. And the McDonald's was like a Starbucks.
Oh my
There was
gosh.
like a ton of people there. It was like the town hangout. I remember having like, obviously a terribly unhealthy breakfast sandwich. But yeah, I mean, that's Indiana, really.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
But Ohio is not like that.
No, not at all.
But small town America, very vibrant, still
Yeah.
to this day. Mark Evans is a guy I look up to. He's a real estate guy, pretty well known on the real estate social media game now, as well as business. He's a business guy. He's out in Ohio. He goes there during the winter. He's got this massive estate. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh gosh.
So, and Raleigh, obviously a lot of people know Raleigh. It's a great place in North Carolina. North Carolina is also underrated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting bigger. It's definitely getting bigger. It's not a whole lot to do out there, but it's cool seeing all the industry, and especially over the last couple of years, it's been just like exploding. People coming from up north, people coming from Florida. It's just been. I mean,
What do you
real
think it
estate-
is? Like, COVID pushed a lot of people out of the north.
I think COVID had a lot to do with it, but I think also at the time it was price. I mean, it was pretty much a good medium for. It wasn't as expensive as Florida or up north, but it was just like a good medium spot and just had all that potential for growth. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, even towns like Wilmington is great areas. You have that great downtown. You have all these golf-gated communities that are
Yep.
beautiful down there. I don't know where you guys are. Are you still in Raleigh?
We're in Chapel Hill actually, so just right outside of it.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
about 20
close.
minutes
That's
out.
close to Wilmington too, right?
It's about 2 hours out, right?
Is it
Yeah.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because isn't there Chapel Hill, which is like an entity of North Carolina University?
Yep.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, thought so.
And then you get UNCW, which is the Wilmington part.
Yeah, which
Yep.
is right in Wilmington, or
Yep.
right outside.
Right.
Yeah, North Carolina is beautiful.
Yes.
It is.
I think if anything equates to Jersey beaches, again, I'm biased. I've been around the world. I've been to a lot of different beaches. I've been to a lot of different beaches in the U.S. racing boats, and it always brings me back to Jersey beaches and the Jersey feel.
Yep.
North Carolina has a very similar feel down there.
They do. It's pretty cool. Like the fact that you can drive like 2 hours, go to a beach, or 2 hours and go to the mountains. Like we kind of have a mixture of just anything that you kind of want. But the beaches they're pretty good. I think it's not like you get some of this a little bit of emerald green, but I think it's just cool to have all that stuff pretty close to
yeah.
home.
Something to do.
Yeah.
So, I got to pick on you a little bit, Mike. Growing
Okay.
up, you gave me some insight early that you were homeschooled.
I was.
I want to talk about that a little bit because I think that's all coming full circle. Nowadays you have all the craziness that's going on in the school districts, especially during COVID.
Right.
And they're giving books on how you give oral sex and all types of crazy things that, my wife nor I believe in at all. My kids will not be involved with that.
Right.
Talk about growing up, the pros and cons of being, homeschooled.
I think it's probably my mind stayed like a blank slate. Growing up, like all I did was skateboard. To be honest with you, like that was one of the first things that we really got into and started doing for a long time. So like our life being homeschooled, like we would be like, look, Mom, as soon as we're gonna go to the skate park, we're gonna go have fun, and then we'll do our homework when we get home. So
Do
like
some math.
We were homeschooled, but we were like barely just home. Like the schooled part was like not there.
But in my opinion, that's the that's the best thing about it, because you learn about the world versus what they want you to learn in their curriculum that's forced on you.
Right.
Well, and his dad's also a business owner, a small business owner,
Yep.
so he was exposed to that more.
Yeah,
And it
growing
probably
up,
got you thinking like that.
Yeah, I mean, as I was growing up, as a kid, if I wanted to hang out with my dad, the only way to do that was just to go hang out with him at work, at the business, at the car lot. So I learned a lot about I think it shaped my mindset just walking through the hallway of the dealership, just going like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, my dad owns this. Like, this is what being a business owner is like. Like, I remember that vividly, still walking through, like, going, man, like, how is this possible? How do you get to this point? Like, and just constantly thinking about that stuff, even as I was a kid. And so, like, it's really cool just kind of how nowadays, like, how that has shaped my mindset, my thought process. I knew from that point on, I always knew that I was going to own a business or do something like that down the road.
It's big. And, Elon, he talks about it all the time, the school that his children go to, it's how to learn to use a screwdriver.
Yep.
Learning finance. They're going to work. I really visualize Colton, my son who's 3 now, of going to work. As you guys can imagine and know, I know 2,000 business owners here in the tri-state area.
Right.
So I could really send Colton every single day of the month to a different business owner that I trust, that's going to take care of my child, and have him learn as he grows up. Think about it. You guys didn't get to meet him today. He was tired. He was running all day with me. But every day he gets to see a really successful business owner like you guys walk through the gate, and he gets to talk to them and learn, and he sees that dad's talking about business.
Right.
Like the impact so early on of that versus what they want in our head, which is become enslaved to corporate America.
Yes.
So I think that's a really cool track. And you took the traditional schooling route, and you obviously still turned out to be a business owner, and you have that mindset.
Yeah, the funny thing is my dad was, very smart guy. He worked he was a machinist, and he worked himself up to a point where when the parts would come in broken, they didn't even come from the factory. He just opened them up, figured out how to fix them, and send them back, kind of thing. But he also tried to start his own businesses on the side. He didn't really expose me to that much of that world, but yeah, he was always teaching me to be better than him, to be more successful than him. And he was the one who made me go to college. I didn't want to go, but yeah.
That was our parents' thought process.
Yes.
It was like, I want to make the next generation the best, and that's the best thing about America. And the good quality people, like you're referencing your parents, that generation, unfortunately, they had that intent, but they listened too much, in my opinion, to the big government. It was like, go to college. Well, what did college do for anybody?
Right.
I'm sitting up here as a guy who got kicked out of junior year of high school, and I make more money than most of the people around me. And I don't say that in any type of braggadocious way. It's like, well, I think I did because I had a creative thought. I thought differently. People taught me to think bigger. But the lesson we learned from, I think, our parents' generation is they sacrificed everything to give us a better life, while they really didn't get to enjoy life. My parents didn't vacation much. My dad drove a crappy car. My mom had a newer car, but it was still a pre-owned vehicle.
Yeah.
And that was something they learned from their parents' generation of sacrifice, which was the World War II era.
Right.
And, I think that comes full circle, and it's happening now again, because we're going to go through some hard times in this country. And I think our generation will create savages in our children.
I agree.
I hope so, man. It needs it. That's for sure.
It's coming. My son's a savage. He's a sweetheart, and he's a lover, but he's going to be a savage.
Right.
So, fast forward in your guys' story a little bit. Both went to college, right? We talked about being in Indiana. Did you go to college, Mike?
No, I did not.
Only for parties.
Yeah, I was about to say, I tell people I went to many different
Cheers.
colleges. Yeah. I just never got accepted.
Yeah, same. I didn't make it past the junior year. Don't worry.
You're like, yeah, I went to ECU a couple times on the weekend.
Yeah.
Eastern Carolina, Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, Party Central.
So, you guys both graduate college. How long after before you guys end up in the Amway world, which is where you guys met? We don't need to get into that yet. How old were you guys at the time?
I became a part of the business at 19.
So you were really young.
I was really young. Yep.
And how old were you, Liz?
I'm a little bit older than him.
Mm-hmm.
So I graduated college, did my master's, went to Korea, taught English for a while, came back.
Korea?
Yeah.
South Korea?
Mm-hmm. And I think I was 29 when I joined.
Wow.
Yeah.
You gonna go to North Korea?
No, I would have gotten stuck.
Kim Jong needs some
Oh
English
man,
teachers.
you could have taught him a thing or two.
So, you say, when did you start playing with cameras and taking pictures and doing videos?
Oh, it was skateboarding. I mean, skateboarding took up probably a good, I want to say almost 8 years of my life. We started when I was probably 13, 14 years old. My two younger brothers, I got two younger brothers, we all three got into it at the same time and just like stuck with it. It's just something that we fell in love with.
So you start filming it, throwing it on YouTube.
And my middle brother was way better than me. Like he had people, eyeballing him for sponsors and giving him free stuff. Like the local skate shop that we had, they started like cutting him deals and stuff like that. But he got to a point where in order to get sponsors from other companies, he needed to see some film
Content.
from him. Yeah, they wanted to see content. So like they were like, well, it's cool that you're getting all, like, we can take the word from this owner of this shop that you're good, but like we want to see what you can do. And so I was just like, all right, well, I guess the only way we get to do this is buy a camera and try to figure this shit out. Like, if someone's gonna do it, I guess I'll do it. I'll figure it out. So I convinced my parents to buy me a camera, and it was just this
What was the camera?
Oh, dude, it was just some old like Panasonic Mini DV. I mean, just old
Flip back screen.
Yeah, just little handy cam thing. Like, and it still had like the little mini DV tapes and stuff like that with the film all in it. Dude, it was old, but I loved it. I picked it up, started learning how to use it, and just couldn't put it down.
Yeah, I feel like, Evan obviously is the person who runs the whole podcast and everything we do from a video perspective. Like, you got the mind for it or you don't, right? It's like, you either like that or you don't. Like me with a camera, like I like to take some pictures or grab content of something I'm doing. I've become like accustomed to that for social media, but it's not something I'm like into. You seem like you picked it up right away. How long were you playing with that before you went into the Amway world and doing that for somebody else?
Oh man, I played with it for a few years. I think for probably till I was like 16, I probably put it down for like a year or two. And then as I was working, and because I was working for my dad at the time, and I was just trying to save up more money because I just wanted to kind of figure out what the hell I wanted to do. I got into a phase where I wanted to race cars. I've always been like into extreme sports and all that kind of stuff. So like, but cars was really something I had a passion for as well, and driving them and racing them was something I really enjoyed. And so like, that was kind of like my first real passion and dream that I wanted to chase, but like real quickly figured out
it's expensive.
It takes money, like, and I didn't have any money. Like, like my dad did very well in the car business, but like that didn't mean I did well. So like, I had to work. I had to do as much as I could.
Your dad wasn't going to fund $1 million a year race team.
No, absolutely not. He's like, if you want to do it, cool.
Those toy haulers
I'll
are real
support you as much
expensive.
as I can, but you're gonna have to pay for it on your own. So I found that out, and so I like in my head, I'm like, all right, what the heck am I gonna do to fund this if I'm gonna do it? And that kind of sparked my mind of, and I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in God, and so like there was a point that I was working for my dad, and I was just not doing what I wanted to do. I was working at the salvage yard, and just in oil and mess every day, all day, and I was just like, dude, like where am I gonna find something that I can just sink my teeth into and really like get where I want to go? I would see content and pieces of videos or whatever, and just of people driving and doing what they want to do and living the life that they want to live, and I was just sitting there like, I was like, God, whatever I can find, show me, give me something, point me in the direction that I need to go, like that I can obviously, do what I need to do for you, but at the same time, like, I want to live the life that I want to live. So what can we do to kind of, I was like trying to work a deal out with him. I'm like, just point me in the right direction. And then a few weeks later, and this was when I was 19, and I met a guy named Adam, and it was at a little car meet that we used to have at Sheetz. Everybody get their cars together. We do it at like weeknights and weekends and stuff like that. So he drove up in his BMW, and I was like, oh, dude, sick car. Started chatting him up. And then we exchanged information, and he ended up being a part of the Amway business and called me a little bit later, a few weeks later, and that's just kind of how I got connected through that.
Great story.
Yeah.
Kind of found your purpose. It steered you in that direction to teach, and we'll jump back in. How did you get into the Amway business?
Someone just randomly approached me, but I had been working in the automotive industry for probably about a year and a half at this point. And I was like, I came just fresh back from Korea, and I was like, I'm going to go wherever I can just work my way up. That was just my mentality. And so I realized very quickly, though, that the glass ceiling is real. I saw the pay plans continuously being changed based on the market, different things like that for, sales or finance. And I saw how many hours you had to give up of your life to get like this small portion to be able to do things with your family. And someone approached me, and I was like, well, yeah, that's literally just how it happened.
Yeah, you're like, hey, how can I figure out a way to make some capital and have more of my freedom?
Exactly.
I think about this for women. I think for years, the last 20 years, it's been a big push on equal pay and all these things. And I believe in all that. I think they should. But why don't we praise moms being moms?
Right.
And being wives, and that's a really tough job. And it takes a lot of energy, and push that as well, and give the mother that freedom to go do what she wants to do versus grinding to try to get an equal pay, or get up there and feel what the males are doing, and having that same equal whatever it may be. My wife came home, and I glorify that. Her job is crazy hard, and my kids are amazing, and I love them, but usually after about 3 hours I'm tapped on patience.
Yeah.
And she just has a different drive, a different lever. She can hit that gear on the next level, and just deal with it in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, in my opinion, women are trying to compete for that job and that spot with a male, where it's maybe if we believe in the big guy upstairs, he made Adam and Eve, and we were made to recreate, right? We were made to make that next generation, and naturally the females were better at doing that. And now a male can have a kid, I think. Can they?
That's what they claim.
They do something.
Yeah, no.
It was very expensive surgery, but
Yeah.
So I get that path you were trying to get through and figure it out, and how do I make my way? And how old were you when you went into the Amway business?
I think it was 29.
29? You said it earlier.
Yeah.
I apologize. And you were working in the car business, same group that you were doing some work with still now? Or is it different group?
Different group.
Different group.
Yeah. Same boss, different group.
Same boss, different group. So he stole you.
Yeah.
That means you were that good.
He did.
So you guys are at a conference, and I was privy to this story before we got started.
Yeah.
And you guys have a little run-in in the elevator. Mike was a little cranky,
I think so.
and you
tired.
were a little bit more mature, and you're like, this guy's cute, why is he being so
Actually,
cranky?
I didn't think he was cute at first. I thought he looked
Oh,
goofy
shit.
as hell.
Oh, damn.
No, you don't.
Oh, damn.
You talk.
It's true.
No, you
Now
talk.
it's coming out.
I made a book for him for our wedding.
I thought you said
day.
it was just the suit.
It's in. Yeah. That's.
You were in
That's
an
what I
Amway
mean.
suit?
You just
Like
made
in
it
that,
was like you
I
just
wanna
made
be
it sound like it
successful,
was
but
the
I don't know what to
whole.
look like yet. Kind of look.
I'm broke,
Yeah.
but I'm going to wear this suit from Men's Warehouse that don't fit me
And
fitted.
I think his pants were too short.
No, it was Express.
Yeah.
Women are always smarter than us. They are. They're ahead of us.
Oh my goodness.
It was Express?
Oh, it was Express.
I never fit into Express ever.
Yeah.
Even as a baby, they couldn't get me an Express.
Yeah, you can imagine.
Well, basically, it looked like he walked in there and said, "I need something." They said, "Oh, that looks great," and he's like, "All right, it's mine." But they were lying to you.
So she was like, this guy's a little chippy. He's got an awkward suit on. I need to help him.
Bro, I was
19.
No, well, I got in business when I was 19, but yeah, no corporate world experience, no real job experience. I didn't know how to dress myself. I didn't know anything like that. So I was going off the cuff with it. So.
I was kicked out of high school from Bricktown into a financial boardroom where they did training. You talk about somebody who wasn't dressed right. I get it.
Dude, yeah.
I fully get it. So how long after that interaction did you guys play this cat and mouse game?
It was probably
Long time.
Well, so here's the thing. The group that I was in was doing this video contest, right? And I did a little bit of marketing, and it was all a part of my job. And I said, okay, I'm going to do the one by myself, and I can win this. So, like, I contacted him to help me make the video.
She was strategic.
She's
Extremely strategic.
Extremely
I'm the
strategic.
creative side of things. She's that like business. She's
You need
entrepreneur.
both.
Yeah.
That's why it works for you guys. You guys
Absolutely.
are very successful because of that.
100%.
Yeah, and so I convinced him to do it, and I was the director. He made it happen. He made the vision come alive, and we're friends ever since.
We
So it
were
all
friends
started.
for
Yeah.
3 years?
Probably 3.5 years. Before.
yeah. No, it was like 4. It was probably like 4.
Okay.
And finally you woke up and you said,
Yeah.
what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I kept using not using the excuse, but like, the guy that I was working for, 24/7, 365, I was traveling nonstop all the time. Like, and I never knew what my schedule was looking like from day to day.
He would hit you up.
Yeah. Like,
Night before.
Yeah, 24 hours, maybe 24 hours in advance. That would be nice to even get sometimes and be like, bro, we're flying out tomorrow. We're going to, the NCAA championship, or we're going to this crazy thing. Like, he was doing something crazy and extravagant all the time.
So he was just trying to grab content and show the money he was making.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was wild. It was fun. It was one of the funnest times of my life, other than now. Like, it's the experiences and the things that I went through was just. I'll
Taught you a lot how to use the camera, that's for sure.
It taught
Yes.
me so much.
So it
Everything that I know
brought
today.
you guys together.
Yep.
Now I want to get to your next chapter right after this break, though.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll be back. We had to take a break for a nice Figurado cigar. Shout out to Frank at Figurado Cigars. And Fireside has a nice promo code. You get yourself a nice discount at the checkout. Make sure you put in promo code Fireside. These are tasty. They're called the Explorer, right? Pretty good cigar.
For Connecticut blends, these are really good.
Yeah, you got a nice little bite to it still,
like these.
but smooth.
I'm more of a Toro Maduro guy, but this is
You like it, Liz?
I can't speak the lingo, but yes,
Yes, it's tasty.
it is delicious.
I think you look great smoking a cigar.
Thank you.
I know
She
that
does.
Mike
I feel a
makes
little
fun of you.
silly, but-
sexy as hell.
So, hopping into your business, you guys, as a couple, and I say guys, I mean guy and girl. I like to say that.
Yes.
Doesn't
And
bother her.
not you. I know it doesn't bother you. People get bothered by that. You were talking quickly as we were jumping back in.
Yeah.
Talking about your dad and business and like how you started to think about business and us both not having a college degree and all that debt. Let's jump it off there, and then we'll roll into your business and everything you guys are doing and where the vision of marketing is going for you guys and your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just my dad. As a kid, I would go there and I would try to ask him questions and stuff like that and be like,
What was his dealership, by the way?
Sauls Motor Company. It's just a used car. He was a
used
used
car.
car dealer. Like, yeah,
Dude, used car lots can crush.
he killed it, man. I think at one point they had the buy here, pay here system that they had. I think he was bringing in like, I don't even know. It was millions a year he was bringing in because it was all cash. It was all cash. They was bringing every 2 weeks people would be paying. He had like over 500 accounts of just people just paying every 2 weeks cash, and it was just booming. But I never learned. I didn't get a chance to learn anything. One, I was too young at the time to really grasp what he would have taught me and what was going on. But like, he also was just so deep in it that he just never was able to have the time to really sit me down and go, this is what's happening, this is what I'm doing, this is what you can have, and all this kind of, like, he just never really was able to.
Do you think subconsciously now, as you guys are in business, do you believe that you maybe have more than you thought you knew and learned more than you thought you were taught?
I think subconsciously, it like in passing as I, would go as a kid, I think it ultimately painted a vision, or just, once you see certain things, once you experience certain things, like it's just, you can't take it away. You can't take it away. So like there was always, no matter what I did, I was always that thought of, if my dad had this, like I should be able to do that same thing, if not do something more.
Well, you realize your dad was making a great living and he wasn't working for the man.
Right.
He was
And
working for himself.
what he was able to provide for us and stuff, and I always, I don't want to like sound like I'm like, knocking him for anything, but he was so busy at times that he didn't have enough time to spend with us. You know, I've got 2 younger brothers. Whenever we would go do stuff, like we used to have like skateboard competitions or any kind of thing that we would do as a family, go to the beach.
Careful of that popping. That will literally
getting
burn you.
legit.
Be careful.
Raining
I don't know what's
fire.
going on there.
Violence.
We got like a fiery one.
I'm spitting fire right now. It's good. No, I'm just kidding.
Hot.
So he wasn't able to like hang out with us all the time. Like whenever we would go to the beach, it was just my mom and my brothers, and then he would come for a couple of days.
But that's
then he'd
sacrifice
go.
to give your family the right things, man.
You know, and we, as kids growing up, you don't really realize that.
Yeah.
You don't understand that. So you're just like, Dad, stay. Like, stay. Don't leave. Just stay. We want to have fun with you. But like, and then going through our teens, we would kind of like, you know, I realized I wanted to do something that I could provide a living for my family, but also not have to
Have the
do
flexibility.
that. I want to have the flexibility to be able to be there for my kids and be
That
there for my
generation
family.
didn't know how to do that either.
I don't think so.
They weren't as efficient. It was just they were workers, right? You know, like your dad taught you a work ethic. Your father and mother taught you a work ethic. It was put your head down,
Right.
provide for your family, roof over the head, clothes on the back.
And I think his dad, my grandfather, was a hard ass. I
Way
never
different
knew him.
world.
He died before I even got to know him. And I think his dad was pretty hardcore. So I think he got that from him.
You learn, you know, and your next generation tries to learn from the good and the bad of the previous generation. And none of us should judge our parents. You know, I talk about my parents all the time, and they're hardworking people, and they were loving, but they got it wrong. They got a lot of shit wrong,
Right.
you know, and our family was far from perfect. My brother had issues. My sister got in trouble at times. I was kicked out of school. My parents were religious, went to church, and did everything they thought they were supposed to do to do the right things, but they could only do as good as they were taught.
Right.
Right.
Right?
For parents, I always, this is how I viewed it, is they've, if they're the good ones, right? If you're born into love, then that's like the one true privilege in life I think you can be born into.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they create their ceiling is your platform, right?
Yep.
So I've always thought of it as my duty to say, okay, this is where my family could get to. And it's my responsibility to keep going up. So then the next people that come from us, then our ceiling, which we're aiming really high, is going to be their platform to just keep going.
100%. And you're going to give it to them.
Right.
You know, because, you know, again, going back to my son of what he's going to be able to do, he's got these guys like Keaton and, you know, the Rob Baileys and all these guys we're going to be hanging out with, you know, next weekend at the event, which, you know, I know you guys are very busy, but if you cancel and get there, it'd be great. But, you know, think about that. You know, your kids are going to be, you know, already at this platform, this summit that you got to, you know, the top of the mountain that you got to. And now they're setting themselves up at such a higher standard. It's just awesome. And all of us, seriously, I think we have, call it trauma or things we need to look introspectively of what our parents did in raising us. But like me, and sounds like you guys, you come from loving families. That's, you know, we're all imperfect. You
Absolutely.
know, I'm sure I do retarded ass shit I shouldn't do to my kids, and you know, maybe they'll be fucked up from
Everybody's trying to figure it out as we
whatever.
go, man. Like,
it is what it is.
that's one of the things I think that I've had to do, that I did a little bit earlier on than my two younger brothers, is I learned, you know, my dad, my parents, like they're people. Like I go through stuff, I make mistakes. Like I can't imagine, like I hope I can do
Raising
things
3
as
boys.
good as my mom. I can't believe she's still even around after raising us 3. Like we were insane. We were just ridiculous.
Skateboarding alone, I can only imagine the hospital runs and the stitches.
I've heard a lot, yes.
And my dad, being a used car dealer, he also had a salvage yard. So like he would bring some of these old junk cars home, and we lived on like some acreage. We had like 25 acres. So he would bring a couple of junk cars, and at like 9-10 years old, we'd be driving junk cars with no doors on them. Derbies, doing just derbies in the backyard.
Awesome.
And like
I've seen the pictures, like a child is hanging off of a car.
Yeah,
my younger brother Nick, my youngest brother Nick is hanging on. He is like got no shirt on, no nothing. He's just like hanging on like a wild man screaming. I'm driving just like, you know, nothing.
I thought he was like exaggerating the story, and then I saw the photo.
Oh, it's beautiful. The picture's amazing.
What are your brothers doing now?
They are, so that's a movie that I'm going to
Yes.
produce and make one day.
Really?
That story is developing right now. They're both in business together, in this business called Greaseman Services. And this guy named Steve. He started out of Charleston, I think, and it's just this whole system of just what was there was like the monopoly. It was like the only company that was doing all this, cleaning hoods, recycling grease from restaurants, whatever. And so he kind of rethought it and remade it, and now like they are the one of 7 franchisees. So they just started theirs in Charlotte, and so they're building it up from scratch on their own.
Franchisee?
Yeah. So it was the story just continues to go. They just started about.
Would it benefit them to hook into like a
6
large franchise or? Meaning like a Jersey Mike's, a Bubba Coos, something of that nature?
No,
it's one of those opportunities.
This is grassroots, like.
You guys need to talk to Racefly Ryan, the guy I interviewed today on my podcast live, Instagram live. We'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
My mind is how my mind works.
Where's that lighter? We got
it right here.
Gone too long without taking a puff.
You got it stuck, brother.
I know. But yeah, dude, it's that Greaseman Services, dude. They've got the story behind that and what my brother's going through. Yeah.
How old?
So I'm 30. The middle is 28, about to turn 29. Youngest is 25. Yeah, 25.
I'm surprised you don't have cowboy boots from North Carolina.
I've tried. I like
We're
that.
getting there.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it.
We're getting there.
I need to start getting some cowboy boots. I'm gonna start a trend in Jersey.
Man, I like the
couple of my buddies.
convenience of Chelsea's.
Yeah.
I got you on those Maganis. Isn't that what it is? Maganis, whatever.
Yep.
With the buckles.
Yep. I
Shits
like
are
those.
tight.
Hot.
But yeah, dude, my brothers they're working day and night. It's a story being told. I wish I could tell details about it, but it's cool.
Content.
Yeah.
Get it. Capture it all.
Absolutely.
Tell it later.
I tell them all the time, like, film yourselves, talk about it, document it.
Be careful. Push that off you.
Don't forget. I keep telling them, don't forget anything that's happened. That's kind of what like we try to do is, even if I don't document it like with my cameras or anything, I always like.
Are you close enough to them to get some footage?
They're about 2 hours away from us, so it's not something that I can.
It is far. You're right.
And they're still working to like they're at a point now where they're bringing in like. They started with nothing, literally nothing. They had to find their own warehouse. They had to build all this stuff from scratch. And it's only been like, 4 months, 5 months maybe? They just brought in like 18 grand this month. And
so are they reinventing the whole franchisor?
Yeah.
Like the whole brand?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a whole different system of the way that they're operating. I wish I could describe
What's their names?
it. What's that?
What's their names?
Brantley and Nicholas.
Brantley, I like that name. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Nicholas, that's overrated.
Yeah.
Nick.
There's a lot of those
Nick.
in Jersey.
He's the Santa.
Nick, yeah. Most Nicks are douchebags.
Those guys got to come up to the podcast.
They do, dude. I swear, when they get to a certain point where
I think we can inject money into that, make money, but that's a sidebar conversation.
Dude. The system they got going on is fantastic.
Do you have any siblings, Liz?
I do. I have an older brother.
Older brother?
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name's Philip.
Philip? Mm-hmm. And is he in business as well?
No, he works for a nonprofit.
Nonprofit?
In Ohio, yeah.
What do they do?
He's in operations.
Nice.
He used to work in logistics, so he's it's something to do with feeding people. I'm not exactly sure all the details.
Feeding people is
No, it's really
a world
cool.
problem.
It's really cool what he's doing and his passion for that.
So I'm going to fast forward this conversation. You've done 6 years in the Amway business. You're working for this guy that's crushing. He's flying around the country.
Yep.
You're doing video. You guys collab on a video because she was strategic. She was going to scoop you up.
Right. Yeah.
She scooped you up like a ground boss. She
Absolutely.
knew exactly what she was doing.
100%.
First scooped him up for the trophy, and then
She wanted to win, so
Yeah.
I'm like, you chose me.
Call
'cause
that
you
a
wanted to
win-win.
win. Like,
yes.
I won the trophy.
I was flattered.
And then she won the trophy husband. I mean, listen, that's a win-win.
She called me and I was like, you want to win? We're gonna win. It's over. It's done.
So at what point did you guys say, we need to start our own business and run with this? What year was that?
I have the answer.
I'll let you go.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
So it was 2020. Yeah, right? I don't know.
You said you had the answer.
I do have the answer, but I don't remember the years.
Aren't they supposed to be like the detailed ones?
So anyway, well, when that whole thing happened, time.
Pandemic?
Time, yes. Time
Pandemic.
I
changes.
saw a graphic today with Fauci getting arrested from Jack Posobiec. I don't know if that was real or
They
not.
mixed Biden in with that one too, and I was like, is that real?
Yeah.
But nowadays I don't even.
And then I heard Trump was being arrested for ripping a mattress tag off from 1997.
Right. Yeah.
Bro, with AI and stuff, I'm like, I don't even look at social media anymore outside of just like learning shit, because it's just like I don't know what the fuck is real and what's
Yeah,
not. Like
I know.
it's just
Yeah, it was 2020 because 2019 is when I hooked him. So the next year I did.
Hook, line, and sinker, obviously.
Yes. So we did
I
a.
fought it.
Shush.
You got a pretty nice ring too, by the way.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you. You know what I did?
was about to put my sunglasses on and look over there.
I picked it out and I sent it to him.
You picked it out?
Yeah.
That's some bullshit. I'd take it back.
we are not like traditional like.
No.
There's
If you wanna
nothing
know the
traditional.
story, I'll
Like
he
tell
was
you
going to
the
jack
story.
the whole thing up. It was going to be terrible.
100%.
Yeah.
He doesn't get my hints. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I don't think any man gets any.
I was homeschooled.
You keep using that excuse, but it's
I'm
just
gonna keep using that.
all
Yeah.
men like. Yeah, I don't get hints either. So
but anyway, so he was working for a boss and he had access to all this gear, and he had this one camera that he would just like carry around with him everywhere. So he used it for some personal things. And we were in Charleston, South Carolina. I was doing an event for the group that I work for. And we went to a restaurant and he left his camera there.
ooh,
Well, his boss's camera. It wasn't his camera, right? And
Expensive.
mind you, like months prior to this happening, I kept saying, why don't you have your own gear?
It's a big
Buy your
oopsie.
own gear. Buy it. Just, you do this all the time. Buy it, start making money from it. And so he lost it. He felt really bad. He was depressed.
I was all in my feelings for a
Yeah,
little while.
because I mean, he couldn't create what he was always creating in his free time, you know? So finally I just had to push him to like, just buy the damn thing. Because we're going to get married. We had a 0% credit card. By the way, we paid for everything. By the day we got married, we had no debt for the
did you
wedding.
finance everything through the credit card stuff to start the business?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I have a couple people who've been on and they've done that. It's awesome because that's taking risk out on yourself.
Well, no, we did. I mean, it was on a credit card.
Well, yeah. So I mean, we utilized our 0%
Yeah.
for wedding, and then his camera gear. And I said, listen, this is 0%. We're not paying any more for this camera for 15 months. How many gigs do you need to get to pay off the camera? And he said, well, just a couple. And I was like, okay, so send me the link, and I will purchase the camera. And then that's where it all started.
Isn't this hold on, time out. Isn't it so funny? The belief in the women, my wife is the same, where she knows you have the talent, you aren't fully believing in yourself yet. And she's going, hey, listen, dog, we got 15 months. You told me your breakdown is $3,000 per gig. We need to do X amount of gigs to hit this
Right.
camera price, and we're paid off in 15 months.
And you know, it's funny. It's like I didn't lack the belief in myself of like being able to deliver.
No, you need to push, dog.
The lack. So like my biggest issue was credit card. I was so against credit cards. I was so against debt. I was
Yeah.
You
so
didn't know how to
against.
use it.
If I didn't have the cash for it, I was not spending that money.
I know.
That's just how I was for so
But the world
long.
works off leverage, dude.
Right. And she broke me of it, and I was like that moment. I was just like, all right, well, let's go. Like we got to make it work now.
She's like a savior to you.
100%. 100%.
You're like you guys are a really good couple. I don't just say that because we're on camera. I'm just talking like friends. The cameras aren't here. Like I know good couples when they exist. I'm kind of like Dr. Phil. I could be a marriage counselor. Just kidding. I'm far from perfect in my marriage.
A little bit.
But you could tell you guys are, that push and pull. That's awesome that you guys have that, and then move that into business.
Yeah.
And obviously you guys did that and did that well. What was your first gig?
Well, so going back to, it's just funny how God works, because the second that we got the camera, I didn't do any kind of external marketing or any kind of reaching out to people. The second that camera came in, people just one random person texted me and was like,
Well,
hey,
how?
They just texted me.
They knew you were doing it,
Nobody knew I was doing it.
It was the arborist, wasn't it?
but they knew you
No.
did it. They knew you did it prior.
So
Who was the first person?
I had dabbled in. I put some stuff on social media, but it's just like nobody really knew because of the guy.
It wasn't a real
When I was
entity yet.
so working for this guy, everything was super tight.
Oh yeah.
No, like
He couldn't
Amway's
use the
super
content.
strict with their lawyers. Everything I couldn't post anything I was. But for 6.5 years, I couldn't promote myself. I couldn't post anything I was working on, what I was doing, because I didn't want to mess him up. I didn't want to do anything that would involve like legal stuff. Content, all
Amway
that stuff.
sounds horrible.
It's not that it's horrible. It's just
I know, I'm
like
teasing,
there's
I'm
the
teasing.
the legality.
Of
It
course.
just, they
Listen, I have FINRA, brother. There's nobody more understanding of that than me.
the IP issues, all that kind of stuff. And so like there was 6.5, 7 years where I was creating all of this content, all this video, all of these, trips that we were taking, all this stuff that I was just like, man, I wish I could post this stuff and show what I'm doing and show these videos that I'm creating. Could never do that. And so like when we first bought this camera, nobody knew what I did.
No, wait, hold. Who was your first gig? That was his question.
The first gig came from, what was it? Johnny Pratt. Johnny Pratt
And
with
how did you know-
Rove,
how did
Rove
you know
Reynolds.
him?
I had met him at a coffee shop. And
Okay.
I just made some random
Okay,
video.
right, but that came from you making a video at the coffee shop. So he knew that that's what you did. He saw the video once you posted it, and then he contacted you to do content.
Right, but I wasn't like actively posting.
Right, but most of the stuff that we've initially got is because, yes, he talks about not being able to post it, but I mean, there were conferences with 20,000 people, and his videos were up there. Everybody knew who he was. They knew his videos. So, like, a lot of things that started us and really got us going were from
that work.
Yeah, and from referrals and people that knew that he did good
And that's the
stuff.
biggest thing that people need to realize. In the moment that you're maybe working for somebody
Yes.
or you're not on your path yet, like that work you put in, somebody is noticing you.
Yeah.
So to this day, this podcast in 18 months has gone like crazy far because of Evan's work and my team's work and because of what I've been able to like push on,
Yep.
right? Someone to this day that I don't know that's powerful is watching.
Right.
100%.
So what you're doing at some point that you don't feel you're fulfilling fully where you want to go is putting in the work and making plays, and you're not getting the awards yet, and you're not getting the trophy yet, but it's going to lead you to where you're going, and that's what you were doing.
100%.
And that's powerful shit,
Yep.
especially in a
Yeah.
circle like that. The Amways of the world, all those large multi-level marketing companies, they're massive.
Yep.
What's the total revenues of Amway, by the way? It's
I think, well, around the time that we were in, they were doing around $12 billion a year.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I don't know
What
what
did
the numbers
Amway
are now.
mainly sell?
Well, at the point that we were around, they started off with soap with LOC, and then they grew to all of these other different. They started doing. They started partnering with Target and all these other different companies. They try to do like Amazon,
It's your traditional, like, skincare,
skincare,
energy drinks,
stuff like that.
everything.
They've got a wide variety,
It's
but
crazy. Do you guys have any involvement anymore?
so we've got other than my previous employer, like we're still tied.
still
to them
chat
pretty
with him?
well. Yeah,
You do any work for him?
I love them, their family.
Yeah.
They're the most genuine people.
Tell them to get on the podcast. I
They're
never had a
amazing.
multi-level
They're
marketing
amazing.
person.
I wish that like having someone like a couple like that on would be amazing. It's just they wouldn't even be.
They're so afraid of the company.
It's not that it's not that they're afraid, but it's just
They're not allowed.
you gotta
Right.
abide by so many strict rules when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
Which, of course,
That sounds like communism, not freedom.
yeah, they
Right,
get
yeah.
pretty tight with it. So.
So your first gig, what was it?
It was a couple of videos that we were going to do for Rove Rentals. This guy, Johnny Pratt, him
What
and his
type of
buddies
rentals?
started.
Cars, quads?
Rove Rentals is like an overland. They started with overland trailers. So like let's say you had an SUV, but you didn't like have the money to spend to put a camper on top and all that kind of stuff, but you want to take your family out camping. So you would rent this trailer, hook it up to your SUV, and you'd take it out to whatever campsite you want to do, and it's got everything you need. Brilliant business plan, design, and everything they did was amazing. So they just wanted a promotional material to, one, do like a who we are kind of video, and then details about the products. So we did that actually on my dad's property. That was like one of the first gigs that we ever did.
That's cool. What'd they pay you?
I think I only charged
It's like
like
$1,500, wasn't it?
I think
Something like that.
$1,500 for like 3 videos, and they were each like 3 to 4 minutes long. Like,
Undervalued yourself.
Oh God, dude, I had no idea what other people were charging. I had no idea what I was worth. I didn't know what I could charge. I mean,
Now, side note, it has taken a lot of effort on my side to convince him of his worth. And be like,
I think I'm just speaking from my personal opinion on Evan. And again, maybe they're just kind people, or that's the people that God puts in my life because I'm difficult to deal with. But, you know, Evan still doesn't know his full value. And he's created this whole monster of a tribe through his shooting. And I think with you guys, if you love it the way that I know he loves it, you're just in it to like, yo, this is awesome. If I make it work, if I shoot some content that helps your business, I'm pumped. That means the way that I shot it and executed it
100%.
Was I'm on par.
Yep.
And it's hard to value yourself in that because you don't know what will work or not work.
Right.
You want another drink? Matt, can we hook her up with a drink?
She's like, dang, girl, you already like drank that down.
She sipped on that for a while.
that was for a while.
Yeah, let's give her some
You're
credit.
right.
Let's give her some credit.
Pass me the
Well, you guys are on vacation, you know?
But,
like,
yeah.
baby making time tonight.
Yeah, you're right. You're right though. Like, but as it's one of those things. Like, I started from. I know where I started from. So I still got that. I don't know, that side of me that goes, is my work still worth it? Like,
You got to stop that.
Is this?
Thank
You got to stop that, dude.
Like-
Because I came from kicked out of school. I came from dirtbag, chippy, fighting, drinking too much, being an idiot. Like, and to this day, like, I'm going to walk on that stage and I'm going to crush that speech just like any other dude that's up there, whether they made 100 million and I've only made 10.
Well, and the thing he doesn't realize too is that what the work that he puts in is more than he charges, but it's like he cares about the people. He cares about how this is going to perform for them. He cares a lot. He's going to do more research for his own learning to make this work, you know.
It's his heart. And
Yes.
and I'm the same way. And that's something Keaton's credit. You know, he's like, dude, everything you do, you can't keep doing stuff for free for people. You can't just take phone calls for an hour and a half at a time and unload on these people and they don't pay you a dime because people are takers, dude.
They are.
Right? Satan's a taker.
Yes.
Right? And people will take and take and take. And the right people who do the right thing by you and they give back and they're doing things for you, you want to hook them up? By all means, go hook them up. And I do that all the time.
Yep.
But the people who are not, you just got to make sure you know it's still business, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you've got to value your time.
Right.
And yours, like I see your gigs. Like I'm talking about, for those of you who are watching this, go watch that video of, was that a Ducati commercial? What was that?
Dude, honestly, so that's one of the things that like a lot of people will ask, like, you know, how do you get gigs or how do you find clients? It's like, a lot of the times it comes from spec work, whereas like my
What's that
brother,
mean?
my brother owned a Ducati, and he lived in downtown Raleigh, and I was like, bro, I got a free day tomorrow. Let's just go film something sick. Let's just go do some shit. And that's where it came from. We just had no agenda. We just went and we filmed some stuff, and
Thank you, Matt.
we just I was just like, yo, let me go film something that I want to film that makes me happy, and let me just do something that I haven't been able
How
to do
did he
yet.
jump out the window?
Honestly, I don't even that part.
I feel like-
I feel like that.
I'm making that
You
up in
either
my head.
saw
I think
that
so.
somewhere and then like linked that up with.
Oh, I
don't
know. It was sick. It was like, wasn't he
was-
in a high rise?
No. So he actually got really good at riding a motorcycle. So he was doing wheelies. Like he was very
filming
good.
him
At,
Well, I know
out
it
a
was,
window.
it was sick. Oh, I know.
yeah. No. There was. I mean,
I sent it to Evan right away. I was like, dude, Evan, check out this guy. Yeah.
it's fun. But the spec work. I mean, just filming stuff that I want to do.
And then someone else
it.
wants to pay you for it.
And then somebody sees it. They don't know that I didn't charge for that. They don't know that somebody didn't pay me for that. They don't know that that's not a commercial. So like,
Yeah.
it's
Something you did
just
for
something
fun.
that, hey, this is what I can do.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of when people in my industry, they don't do enough spec work. They don't do enough projects on their own to really push their limits and then share it.
Or also push what you're good at.
Right. I
'Cause
mean,
that's the biggest thing in all types of work. We talked about this earlier about my podcast. It's like, is this a job or is it something that's your passion?
right.
So if you're shooting the passion film that you like,
Yeah.
and you guys have a vision as a business owner of what you like, and you're shooting that spec, now you're going to attract people that want to be in that space. Now you're shooting racers, you're shooting motorcycles, you're shooting stuff that I know you like and love.
Yep. You start putting out what you like. It's the law of, and that goes back to like my thought process is like I give everything. I give it my 110%, 120%, whatever you want to call it. I go above and beyond for my clients, my people, because I know that no matter what, yes, I may undercharge it sometimes, or I may do something for free. It's like some that may be the case sometimes, but I know that what you sow, you reap.
Yeah, it's gonna come back tenfold.
It's gonna come back no matter what. So like whether somebody pays me for something that I do extra or not, if I just like, oh, you know what, this will take me a little bit extra time, but it's gonna look so good for them. It's gonna be such a great result.
That's a better trusting in you than I have.
What do you mean?
Like that's the trust in you that you believe in that bigger picture of like, I'm going to do the right thing. And although maybe there's one scumbag along the way that takes advantage, these other people will realize.
I think it's because I constantly am looking towards the next client. I'm focusing and taking care of the client that I'm working on, but I'm working on that project because I know there's someone else, there's another set of eyeballs that's going to see this client's work that I'm doing right now, and what I do here matters because that's going to get me to the next better client.
So let's move this along.
Okay.
I'm going to geek out a little bit.
All right.
So you see this setup here. You see what Evan's doing. You guys quickly talked like camera talk. You guys got excited in the pants.
Yep.
I was like, what's going on here?
100%.
I don't know what's going on. Evan's got fancy shit. You got fancy shit. So, like, talk about what you think that you do different as a videographer and somebody. And you do all your own editing as well, right?
Everything.
You guys do everything
from start to finish.
So, talk about what you think you do different, what you see different than other videographers out there.
I listen. I take the time to get to know my client. There's a process that we take them through to, one, understand who they are, their company, what their vision is, what they're trying to accomplish. Like we try to learn as much as we can because I want as much information that I can get, because if they can convey their vision, then I know they say this is what we're trying to accomplish, I can produce it, I can make it, it's gonna work. And I think it's just the amount of care, really. That's just all it comes down to. I care about the client. I care about my work because it's my reputation. It's not like I'm just going to go do this and I'm going to half-ass it because, this client's not paying me a lot. It's just like, I can't do that because I know that at the end of the day, that's my work. That's my art. And there's no way that I'm going to half-ass it. I'm going to not do what I need to do to make it the best that it can possibly be.
I want to drill down further, though.
All right.
And that's a great answer. I want you to drill down on, like, angles of things, because I see it in Evan. Like, I may give him an idea of an overall, like, idea, and it's vague at times. And, like, he takes my vague, to your point, listening, and he's able to, like, go shoot the right angle and, like, go, produce the right content or video or hype or it's slow-mo of it. Talk about how you think through that process on a client's content they're trying to create.
I think it's. Do you want to answer?
I'll interject. Go.
Yeah, go for it.
No, you first.
I was gonna say it's a matter of the preparation on the back end. I spend so much time studying other videos, other people that I look up to. I'm constantly, because of the spec work that I'm constantly working on, I'm constantly looking at other people's work and just studying the amount of videos, the amount of things that I see all the time. I can always pull from different places, different ideas, different things that I've seen, and then down to the very core, I can say a lot of fancy stuff, but down at the very core, I think it's the inspiration from the Holy Spirit, from God. That is just, for some reason, it's like, a lot of times in my head, I'm going, how am I going to make this work? This client wants all this stuff. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. It's weird, but I just know that it's just, we're going to figure it out.
You know so much more than they do, and you know so much more than the public knows.
Well, there's another distinct advantage too. So one thing when he talks about like understanding what the client wants is us as a team. So. Yeah. He'll throw project ideas at me Not always, but many, many times. And we'll talk through them, and then I'll put my input, especially like weddings. He'll come to me and say this, and then I give him a vision as well. Because
You're like a producer and a director.
Yeah, so like when I was in high school, I got lunch money. I didn't eat lunch. I always saved my money. Came home and ate food, and then I bought stuff.
Oh, she's the saver.
Well, but then I had a camera as well. I was a little bit further behind or ahead in age, so like the editing softwares, like that stuff wasn't like readily available. So
not like nowadays, right?
No. And so like I had the same kind of camera that he had, and I was always taking photos, doing videos and stuff, but like I never, like my editing was like all in one shot kind of situation, you know? And so I know how to edit based on the basic version of what he knows, right? So I have a passion for it as well.
You have a thought process and a vision into it.
Yes, and I'm very much a storyteller. And so I provide a sounding board for him as well. So like, for example, he has a friend and she's a makeup artist. And he made this video. This was when we were just friends. And, you know, being in Amway, everybody's like positive, like that's the whole atmosphere. So he thinks everybody was always lying to him because they're just positive people in general. And then I said, well, do you want some real feedback? I can give you some real feedback. And he had made this video and it was beautiful. Like it was very well done, but I told him the key points of where he went wrong in that particular video and the subject matter, because he was focusing on a beautiful video and not showcasing the talent of the person, right? So the video execution was a good video, but he didn't do what the client like could really benefit from. So I encouraged him to dive deeper, ask questions, find
Drill
these
down.
things. Yeah. Find out what the client wants. And then like 2 months later, you did the coffee house or coffee shop. And like, he nailed it, right? So it was like a complete turnaround. And so when he makes his videos, he comes back, I watch them, sometimes begrudgingly because I'm busy with my full-time job.
Like, stop what you're doing.
Right.
Watch what
But
that's
then
I bounce things off Kelly
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
You know, she's my sounding board. I get it.
Yeah, so I critique the hell out of everything.
And he's accepting
hate
and
it
loving and
sometimes.
trusting.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Hate it
you
sometimes.
know that she's giving you the real truth.
Absolutely.
Right. So it pushes him. So I think that's a really big advantage that not all people have. To have a safe place to go.
To go
and-
get the trusting.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, you're a lot of times when I'm like putting stuff out there, it's like, all right, people are gonna like it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I got Evan, and I got Mike,
Yeah.
and I got Matt, and I got Kelly, and that's like my trust circle, as well as many others in the tribe that I love and trust.
Yep.
And that's a huge thing, especially as somebody as close as your husband or wife. And I could see that in you. You're a creative mind in a different way, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the video guys, like they see things through, like they can shoot this, but they may not always have the overall production side, not production, but they don't have like the director mind or like what you want to do. They can execute to the T, which you and I may not be able to do, but sometimes you need a little guidance of like where should they go shoot it or how should they shoot it.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a husband-wife team, that's amazing.
Dude, yeah. I mean, because for me, like, it's an art form. It's something that, like, I mean, these creations are like, they're my brainchild. They're my babies. Like, so when I create something, it's like, even though, like, and I'm my own worst critic. So, like, I see everything that I should have done or could have gotten better or, like, I
see that now.
You're always nitpicking. There's always something that you could have done better. And it's a constant learning and progressing process. It's just constant learning, constant progression. I'm always, I didn't do that as good as I could have. I'll do that better on the next client or the next project. But it's also like, it's hard to kind of critique your own work as well because you're like, man, this is really good. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes you feel really good about a project, and then when I bring it to her, I'm like, I don't even want to bring it to her right now.
What is she gonna say?
What is she gonna say about this? Because sometimes, like,
Maddie B.
I'm a visual person, so like sometimes I kind of get in my own little lane of going, this looks really good, so I'm gonna do this. And then I bring it to her, and she's like, yeah, that looks really good, but that doesn't really tell the story the way it should be told. And I'm like, God, I knew you were gonna say that, but I didn't want that to be like. I didn't want you to say that, but like I changed that. I make those changes, and it works out.
That's a good team.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's fun.
That's yeah.
It's so cool.
It is fun, and you guys have fun, and again, you have a great relationship, and you could do that in business. Not everybody could be a business partner with their husband or wife.
Yes, it was a requirement for me. So,
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
like, I had these like certain. I didn't get married till I was 36. It is not the age I wanted to get married at, but.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Well, because.
I like to drill into the women talk.
Yeah. My parents are like the epitome of what a relationship is supposed to be like. My dad passed away.
What does that mean, though? What is a relationship supposed to be like?
Right. I'm telling you, no. My... How do I describe this? My dad was...
So your dad passed.
Yes, he did.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. He loved my mom. And he, like, the things that I learned from him, he would always be like, oh, I just don't deserve your mom. And I'm like, why do you talk like this, you know? And, you know, we always had used cars growing up. But, like, any car we would get that was, like, the newest, nicest, he would give it to my mom.
Yeah, my dad did the same.
Yeah. And he worked for his family. He did not grow up in a good situation growing up in terms of, like, well, I don't want to get into that. But, and my mom, you know, it is what it is as well. So the fact that they ended up together and he was just, like, one of these people, like, and he never knew a stranger. He always struck up conversations with people. And he just wanted to put a seed of positivity in people's lives wherever he went, at the DMV, wherever he was, right?
You think that's because he grew up so in a shitty situation? He wanted to instill love and happiness in other people?
Yeah, to get out of, like, to move himself forward in life, he joined the military. And then he saw my mom, they got married, and he just did everything for his family. Like, he was the best dad you could ever ask for. It was just, he taught me what love was. And my mom, too. And they, you know, they didn't, I'm sure they had their arguments and stuff, but, like, they were always very loving. Like, he was always madly in love with my mom. It's kind of like a movie that you don't think really exists, but it actually does.
She's probably a smoke show. Jesus. It's easy to love a gorgeous wife.
Right?
I mean,
100%.
Why take mics and such? I mean,
But I mean,
he's
it's
been
just,
gazing at you all night as you speak.
But anyway, so their relationship, and it was founded, you know, they were both believers as well, so they had a good foundation. And the time that I saw them grow the most is when they started studying together to teach at, like, a marriage resource center to, like, give back to other couples. And I just saw them grow so much as they started learning together and things like that. And it was just a whole thing of love, right? So, like, that's what I saw. But they worked together she always had his back. He tried to do things to make things better. Unfortunately, his health got in the way, you know, in the end. But, like, that's always how I viewed it. So when I thought of a marriage, I thought of, you're finding that person that's going to make you both better, right?
Yeah.
So,
Push each other.
Yeah. And so I always craved that. And growing up in the society that I did, you know.
That we all did.
Yeah.
That we still are.
And especially.
And it's gotten worse.
Yeah, it just gets to you mentally. So.
Yeah. No one's good. No one else wants that. No one else wants to drive for that. No one else wants to crave that.
Right.
That love, that friendship, that.
Right. And I've always been very independent and driven. So, like, there's going to be some facet of the business that we're actually currently working on that this is like my section that I'm driving. But, like, I always would find and date guys that said they understood and respected my goals in life as well, but they didn't really when it came down to it, right?
Well, they were intimidated.
Yes. So that's how I lived my life, and I didn't realize that was the thing with men being so insecure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably, you know, nowadays, men are probably more insecure than women.
Perhaps. But then I realized, you know, I married so young, I had to wait for him to grow up before I met him, so it makes sense why I got married so late.
Yeah, how old was he, 16?
Yeah.
I don't even remember how old I was when I met you.
So you guys obviously do a great job as a couple, you know, hearing that type of backstory and what you thrive to have, and you obviously have that type of guy similar to your father and Mike. And that's something that I've been trying to bring up on the podcast. It's like, hey, if I'm going to be up here with purpose and I have this platform, like, I'm here to talk about business, I'm here to teach, but I'm here to teach, like, hey, like, my wife is a massive part of Fireside and WCC. Most of the time, she's putting my children to bed. You know, she's in there giving them dinner while I'm out here in the backyard shooting a podcast and having a drink. Like, it's a team approach. And she knows that that gets us to our end goals of what we want to do as a family, creating memories. And you guys have that. Speaking of family, I mean, do you guys plan on any children, or not to put you on the spot?
We're working on it.
All right.
We're planning it.
I like it.
We're planning it.
And to that end too, like when I have my stuff for you know, like the conference that I just put on, he was right by my side helping me set up, I mean, he does the same thing for me that I'm doing for him. It's just
It's a great teammate.
Yeah.
And that's why, this was, probably when we first tried to get this scheduled for us to come up here, one of the things I checked in with you guys on was like, hey, if I'm coming, she's coming too. Like,
I love that.
There's a whole perspective that she has that is so valuable and so different than what I can say.
The way you see it.
It's such a different dynamic.
And you guys, and I want to jump into a little bit of the stuff that you guys do.
Right.
Like, you're doing all different types of these high-end gun shooting events. You had some really cool, like, military movies. I shouldn't say movies, but military, like, videos and content. Speak a little bit of how you ran into that whole community.
Man, it's been it's an interesting twist of things. I think it's kind of like, it's stuff that I want to shoot, and like I try to implement things into different brands that, if given the opportunity, I'll kind of grab onto it, and I'll kind of put more emphasis on adding it into some of the projects. So what you saw with that military vehicle, that was actually a boys camp.
Yeah.
That was actually like a boys camp from like ages 8 to 14.
Through
15.
like the church or something?
So
They're
it was
a ministry.
They're a ministry, and they reached out to me last year, and they were like,
That looks sick.
They were like, hey, look, we want to get somebody to come out here and film.
It's
this
raining
stuff.
a little bit. How have you been to get here?
A little bit. Are we good?
Just a little bit?
Yeah,
There's
we'll be
there's a
okay.
little cloud?
You wanna?
Her hair's looking gorgeous. I don't want to mess it up. And so is Michael's.
I mean,
who spent more time on the hair tonight?
Me?
Definitely Mike.
I resent that.
try
Yours
not to.
naturally looks good.
Right.
I woke up like this.
But it's it was a ministry that reached out to me. It's a friend of mine that I met through the business,
Yeah.
the Amway business. The Newells, Gary and Timmy Newell, they run a ministry called Outreach America, amazing organization
Yeah.
for boys, young men that they
It's needed so much.
Oh my
nowadays.
gosh,
yeah.
what they do is just, I could not talk about what they do enough. Honestly, it's one of those things you got to watch that whole video to really get a glimpse of what they do and what they're doing with these young boys and turning them into men. And so they bring stuff in like the SWAT team. They will tell one of the officers to bring in this bear cat. And they'll just some of the things that they bring into this camp is
looks
just
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's just cool to get some of these opportunities to film this stuff. And it's just when I get the opportunity to see this stuff, I'm like, let's go. Like, let's make this as cool as we can possibly do it. So it's just little things like that.
You're incorporating what you believe in, your values, your morals,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
into your business, and I feel that off the both of you. Incredible. We're going to do some cool shit together. The vision of where I'm going, I told you guys a little bit of the business of being the good shark, and where I want to take this whole Fireside America. But men need help.
They do.
You see the suicide rate in men. The suicide rate in, unfortunately, young men is continuing to rise, and we need tough men to stand up and do hard things that don't maybe necessarily immediately benefit their pocket. And it sounds like that organization is doing it, and you were able to, together as a team, shine some really good light on that, because that video is sick. Like, I actually don't think that your social media does enough and says enough about what you guys do.
That's good feedback. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
in
great
my
feedback.
opinion, I really believe that you need to be in the wild. It needs to be Mike in the wild and Liz in the wild, and the cameras get put on you guys.
Yeah.
And about what you're about, and put more light on it. I got on a live today with Ryan Bacher. Ryan Bacher's the Limitless Society CEO. He does a shit ton with child sex trafficking, man. Those guys go put their life on the line in Haiti and other crazy shit. Middle class, white, rich Americans are the largest buyers of sex trafficking. And Ryan, he jokes about it, like, I guess I'm a perfect pedophile, profile.
Yeah.
But like, it's a rich, middle-aged male. And, he shined a light on that for 4 years. He was underground doing these types of things. And I think if you turn the camera around, or someone turned the camera around on you two and what you're about, your brand will blow up that much bigger, and you'll be able to live that life of purpose you want.
That is something that we've been discussing recently. So confirmation by you saying that is just good.
Yeah, just my...
It's cool. I mean, and that's even a part of what Outreach America does do. They just we don't advertise it as much, or they don't try to advertise.
Well, I'm saying you can do it across many boards.
Oh, absolutely.
We can go to a men's group. We're going to throw a men's retreat here.
Absolutely.
We're going to do it right at the beach. We're going to do it at the shore. We might do it even this August. Like, I'm on such a mission to change the world, and I knew all these insecurities and all these things I had and all these problems I had and all the goodness I had.
Yep.
And the right people who were the goodness and the right people that keep falling into my life, like you two. Again, rewinding back to earlier when we were sipping on our first drink of the night, you kind of said, like, hey, big hitters, like I love all these guys. I love Keaton. I love Rob Bailey. And I love all these people. But, like, you're my people. Like, you had enough in your heart to say, hey, this guy Ryan, that maybe gets a little edgy on social media at times, or he'll throw a crossword out, like, he's a good dude. We want to go on his show. There's a connection there, and I think that's important.
Absolutely.
I really do. So rounding this out, I like to talk a lot about giving back to young business owners, and I ask a couple questions here at the end every single time. So my first question is, if you were to talk to a young lady or male that was going into business ownership, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be in your world, what's one thing that you would tell them? And both of you would like to give me something.
Mm-hmm.
I would say you are, where you're at now, you're more ready than you think you are. I think a lot of people sit there and go, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have, for me it was, I don't have the gear, I don't have there's so many things that I'm lacking. We constantly think about what we don't have versus what we do have, our skill sets. You're ready where you are.
Do you journal that? Do you wake up and write what you're grateful for? That's something I've been trying to practice doing.
I think being grateful, being thankful for what you have and where you are, I think that a sense of gratitude, an attitude of gratitude is one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Is every single day I try to make sure that I am thankful for where I'm at and what we have.
I'm going to speed you guys up because it seems like this rain's getting harder.
100%. Go for it.
Give us yours.
I would just say that whatever you're doing, it doesn't have to be directly related to your purpose, but it has to be able to enable you to fulfill your purpose. Otherwise, it's going to be an empty avenue.
At some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's what this all fell into.
Yeah.
Second thing, give us some online people, gurus, other people you want to talk about. Give a shout out to real quick before the heavens open up on us.
Oh gosh,
no pun intended.
Man, I'm so bad off the fly. For people in my industry, I started off with Peter McKinnon. I started off with Chris Howe. There's so many people on YouTube that, like, everything that I've learned has been from YouTube. So many good guys, so many good people that you can learn through. There's some courses that you can take.
I hate and love YouTube.
I know. It's a love-hate relationship, but I'm constantly on it. So, like, don't be scared to research.
Give us some of yours before we mess up your beautiful hair.
I'm going to say the one shout out that I'll give to people, which is faith-based, if you're wanting to get into something like that, is Pastor Robert Morris with Gateway Church in Texas. He's real.
Pastor Morris.
Yeah.
Shout out. Listen, I love you guys. Let's get underneath the hood before we get anywhere wet. And we'll get some pictures after.
It's a good way to end the night right here.